Hey guys, welcome back. If you guys are new to the channel, if you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now today I want to talk to you guys about something that the devil used to absolutely destroy my life, and he crippled me for many years using this tactic until God freed me from it and he showed me the truth behind what was happening. So the devil is the father of lies. Now what that means is he can only lie, right? He doesn't have the capability to tell you the truth. So in any situation that comes up involving the devil in your mind, it is a lie, right? He cannot tell you the truth. Now on the flip side, God cannot lie to you and he cannot tempt you. Okay, so let's look at John 8 verses 44, which says, "He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar and the father of lies." Now, what does he lie to us about? Now, in my life, he used to lie to me about the worst possible thing happening in any situation or any scenario, right? Anything that could possibly go wrong, I would elevate that in my mind and I would make it a fact, right? So for example, let's say I wanted to go out to a restaurant somewhere. I would think that somehow maybe the drunk person there was going to want to start a fight with me, and then maybe I was going to get stabbed, and then maybe there was going to be this or that, right? My mind would just always go to these worst case scenarios. Now that would also affect relationships, where someone would maybe say something that I didn't like, or I saw a different side of them for a second, and I would start to elevate these thoughts in my mind about who they were, right? And I would start to make this bad character out of the person, when really I was just elevating the situation and I was elevating stuff about them that wasn't true, right? He would do this to me with witnessing. Whenever I would think about telling somebody about Jesus or telling somebody I was a Christian, he would fill them out with all these lies like, oh, they're going to make fun of you, they're going to ridicule you, they're not going to want to be your friend anymore, right? He used all these tactics to just cripple me. Right, my anxiety got so bad to the point where I didn't want to leave my room for a long time, right? I struggled with anxiety from, I would say, age 15 to age 28 this year, when God really freed me from it. But he used to attack my mind like that and make me think that the worst thing that was going to happen in any situation was going to happen. And he would make it fact in my mind, so I would believe it so strong to the point that it would cripple me and stop me from doing things. Now, he lies about the promises of God in our life so that we don't rest in him. Because when we rest in him and we trust in his promises, then we're effective for him. And then we can enjoy that relationship with him, right? And then we're going to go out and we're going to obey him and we're going to serve him. So the devil wants to fill our mind with such crippling lies about life and relationships and stuff to just shut us down, right? He wants to keep us down under the weight of the world. And he wants us to seek outside sources to help those anxieties, right, that are not from the Lord. But I know from Jeremiah 29 verse 11 that God says he doesn't have plans for evil for me, right? He has plans to prosper me and plans to give me a hope. It's not plans of evil. Okay, so let's also take a look at 2 Corinthians 1 verses 3 and 4, which says, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction, with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God." Okay, so it says God gives us all comfort, right? And when we have that comfort from God, we're able to share that comfort with other people so that they can also have the comfort of God. Now, why is this important? The devil wants us to so believe in his lies that we seek remedies from drugs, we seek remedies from alcohol, right? We seek remedies from meditation. We try and cure our sickness, right, our anxiety with all these things that are not from God, instead of turning to the one thing that can actually cure us and actually give us lasting hope, which is Jesus Christ, right, and the truth in the Bible. Okay, now what happens is, because of this, we don't have that reassurance that God's promises are real in the Bible, so we're not going to go around and tell other people about God's promises, right, making us ineffective again, right? Like in my personal life, my experience, I used to do all sorts of drugs to try and quell my anxiety and get rid of my depression. I used to drink, I used to try meditating, I used to do all these things other than seeking the Lord to help cure my anxiety. So what was I not doing? I wasn't going around and telling people that God could help them with these things, right? That God could free them from their anxiety, could free them from their depression, and to turn to him instead of turning to the world, because I was constantly turning to the world instead of turning to God. So once we start turning to God and we start giving him those things and we start knowing truth and we stop listening to the lies of the devil, right, we're able to share that with other people. And then other people want some of that. They want that lasting peace, that lasting joy, that lasting reassurance. We need to show other people that God is the only cure for their anxiety and depression, right? Coming into a healing relationship with him is the only answer that's going to give them lasting peace and joy. Now, another thing the devil likes to do is he likes to trap you in your sin, right? He likes to diminish the consequences of your sin in life and have you seek sinful desires instead of godly desires, right? He's done this in my life over and over again, where he was telling me that a certain sin I had wasn't that big of a deal, or maybe the Bible really didn't mean that it was a sin, right? So I would give into those things because I was confused. I was listening to those lies. But let's take a look at Genesis 2 verses 17, which says, "But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it you shall surely die." So this is in the Garden of Eden when Adam and Eve are there, and God is telling Adam, listen, don't eat from that tree because surely you will die, right? That was the command, that was the promise. Do not eat of the tree, surely you will die. Now let's look and see at how Satan lied to Adam and Eve to get them to fall. Okay, so Genesis 3 verses 1 and 4 and 5 says, "He said to the woman, 'Did God actually say you shall not eat of any tree in the garden?' Verse 4, "But the serpent said to the woman, 'You will not surely die, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil.'" Right? So Satan lied to them about the very thing that God had just told them. Right? He said, "You will not surely die." Did God actually say that you're going to die and that you can't eat of the tree? When God clearly promised those two things. And what was the consequence of this? Well, it was catastrophic for mankind as we know it today, right? Sin came into the world. Adam and Eve have this perfect life in the garden, and they lost all of it because of their sin, which shows you, number one, there is a consequence for your sin. Okay, and the devil will always lie to you about the consequences of your sin. He'll always lie to you about what God's told you. There's been plenty of times where God has told me something in my life or promised me something or given me reassurance, and the devil comes in right afterwards and tries to take that away from me. Right? He fills my head with lies, fills my head with doubts that I don't believe in the promises of God. I don't trust in him. Right? I start to falter from him. I don't enjoy him. I don't seek him anymore because I'm so worried about my problems. I'm not resting in him. Right? And that's what the devil's going to try and do to you. Now, 2 Corinthians 11 verses 14 talks about Satan coming as an angel of light, which shows you that he comes to manipulate, right? He comes to say that, oh, look how good this sin's going to be, right? Or look what you're going to get out of sinning right here. But really it leads to destruction, right? And ultimately it leads to hell, right? And what did Satan say to Eve? He says, surely if you eat of this, your eyes will be open and you will be like God, right? He's lying to her about the consequences of disobeying God. He said, your eyes are going to be open, you're going to be like God. Right? He's elevating her pride to make her think that this is going to be something beneficial to her, right? When truly it was the exact opposite and it caused destruction in their lives. So how do we fight against these lies? Well, first we have to understand that the devil is a liar, right? And anytime we feel that anxiety creep in or doubts creep into our mind, that is always from the devil, right? He's the master of lies. He cannot tell you the truth. So understand when you're under spiritual attack and you're under spiritual warfare and you're feeling all these insecurities and you're feeling all this fear and all this anxiety, that's from the devil, right? And he's lying to you. And if you know he's lying to you, you know it's not true, right? You can rest in the fact that it's not true. And on the flip side, God cannot lie to you, which means everything he says in the Bible, all the promises he's given to you are ultimately going to be true. Okay, and you can rest in that fact. So let's take a look at John 8 verses 31 and 32, which says, "If you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Okay, so we have to understand that when we study our Bibles, when we know these promises of God, when we know the truth, it's going to set us free from these lies. Okay, if you don't know what God has promised you, if you don't know what he said about your lives and the promises that he has to prosper you and to grow you and not to harm you, you can't stand, you can't fight, right? Because the devil is the master of lies, right? He knows where we're weak and he likes to attack those weaknesses. Sometimes I think he knows me better than I know me when it comes to my weaknesses. Right? He knows exactly how to attack those. He's been mastering it for thousands of years. Okay, so stand strong in the Lord. Stand strong in knowing that he cannot lie in his word. And what he said and what he's promised to you is true. Okay, and the devil is a master of lies, and he will always lie to you. He will always try and tear you down to bring you to a point where you don't want to seek God, you don't want to serve God because you're so focused on your own problems and your own issues and your own insecurities that you can't go out and be effective for him, right? You can't tell other people about him. How are you going to tell anybody else to have joy in the Lord when you don't have joy in the Lord? How are you going to tell anyone else to seek a healing relationship with Jesus Christ when you don't even have that healing relationship with him? This is something that crippled my life for years, right? I let the devil lie to me and cripple me and hold me down for a huge majority of my adult life, right? And I eventually prayed and I said, Lord, I'm going to give up everything I'm trying to do to cure this anxiety, cure this depression that's not from you. If it's not in your word, if it's not you, Lord, I don't want it, right? I'm not going to do it anymore. And I gave up everything in my life that I was trying to do to provide a cure. And I sought God and I gave it to him and he cured me. Hey, so God bless you guys. If you guys like this video, please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. Please comment on what you guys thought. Comment and let me know any other videos you guys want me to make too. I do take suggestions and we'll see you guys next time.